North Carolina has always had a rich musical heritage, and we're proud to be a part of such a great treasure.
Join Brooke and I as we talk to some of our favorite musicians, some good friends from our home state of North Carolina. Hear their story and see how bluegrass music has shaped their lives and their career.
All right.
Well, thank you, Terry, for joining us on these Carolina sessions here. Good morning, and how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, man, and it's my pleasure to be here with you, for sure.
Well, we appreciate it. We just thought we'd take this time since we've all been kind of shut in and quarantined, I guess you could say, for the last couple months to talk to some of our friends and heroes. And you fit into that category. And just wanted to talk to you about picking and growing up in Carolina. I know you grew up around Indian Trail and Monroe and some of your influences there when you first started playing.
I sure did. And, right around that little area from Indian Trail on down to Monroe, and they are just a bunch of pickers down through there, and you always know the pickers around, so it was a good time for me to grow up around that area because there was a lot of picking going on.
Who was some of your picking buddies back in those days that's kind of close to home?
Well, Ben Green, him was born and raised, and it couldn't be any more than 10 minutes away from me. So he was one of my big ones. Frank Poindexter, he had lived down closer to Danville, Virginia, and he married a girl, Pam, and she lived here in Monroe, or right outside of Monroe. So Ben and Frank, we was in a couple of different bands, and those two, were the closest friends, and played more. But then, as you well know, there's a lot of where you're from and where I'm from in between. It's just bunches of people that play very well. So
Carolina's been blessed with a good bunch of musicians, hasn't it?
it has, and it may be the leading state. For me, it is anyway. But I tell you, Kentucky's running a close second. There's a bunch of them there too. So.
Well, when folks think about Carolina and banjo players, they always think of Earl Scruggs and Terry Baucom.
Well, I don't know about that second one there. But
yes, I do.
everybody learned from Earl. I mean, if people say I didn't study Earl, well, he's hit licks anyway that Earl created, so we don't know what he's talking about. But anyway, Earl is the man, and everything else is not up to his level, But I enjoyed Crow really well. I listened to Earl and studied him a lot. And then I started listening to Crow. It was doing a lot of the same licks, but he was doing it a different way because with Doyle and them, they were doing high reed singing and two cars under, man. And he just done, I just love that so much. That kind of took the place of Earl for a while. And then you start listening to Emerson and Bill Keith. I love Bill Keith's stuff, man. It's hard to play. I don't play hardly any of it at all, but I love it when he played it,
Yeah.
So, it's this banjo players I can name. You can too.
And did you start playing fiddle first or banjo?
I'm sorry?
Did you play fiddle or banjo first?
I played banjo first.
All right.
So it's first love, and then I got on this fiddle kick, and it just consumed me. All I wanted to do was play the fiddle, and the banjo was standing in my way, so I put it away and really started working on the fiddle. And, my first pro gig that got me started at 18 was playing fiddle with Charlie Moore.
Right.
So I still love it, but I don't play it because, fiddle players is a little bit weird anyway, and weird. So, a fiddle player's funner on a team. You'll see the whole team stand up here in the corner. He'll be way down there by himself. Like, man, I don't want to be around these guys, So fiddle players like that, but I love the fiddle. Even though we got a four-piece band now, and I love four-piece because you can really get in there and get tight, But I love fiddle players and I love fiddle. So
I've got several of those recordings. I've got the album with Harold Murphy. I know you did a lot of music with Harold and L.W. and Blue River. And I guess I kind of met you through Harold Murphy and Eddie Biggerstaff the first time back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, those guys are dear to me, man. I always seem like I've always known them, Harold's such a good writer and such a good singer, man. I really enjoyed working with him. And him together, Blue River Boys for a while, man. And Herb Lambert played mandolin as good friends to you and me both. And man, those guys could get it. I mean, you
Yeah.
better grab them because they didn't let no grass grow under their feet, man. They was into it, and that made me want to play that much more. Play with people driving it like that, you know.
Yeah.
It's easier to play when you got help driving like that, man. So.
If the times was different and they didn't have as many day jobs, and if people would have got behind them, I mean, the Blue River Boys would have been really stomping it on it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and they've been doing it for years, man. And everybody has played in that, you know, at some time or other. Tommy Mallow played fiddle there. I played fiddle. Tam Smith played fiddle. I don't know. Did you ever play any with LW?
I did, yeah.
I'm sure you have in our runarounds because I was thinking about doing this conversation with you, and I was thinking about of all the people that we'd done shows with, and it's me and you and Biggerstaff. Greg Luck played some shows for a while at one time, and that was fun, man. We had a ball doing that. I did anyway.
Yeah,
So,
had some good times.
it was a good time, you know, and seemed like around then it's everybody say, well, I got a gig, how much you want to do it for, you know, this kind of thing. So things was going on, but it's so strange now you can't really do anything like that.
Yeah.
And I miss it, don't you? I miss playing with the band, you know.
I know we was both around the Charlotte area and playing a lot of, you know, professional gigs, but a lot of people called on me and you both to do a lot of corporate gigs through the week, you know, and I remember we done a bunch of those.
Yeah, the good old corporate gigs, you know, where they kind of steal around the first time, and then everybody hit that bar a little bit, and then they want to sing Rocky Top with you.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you gotta love them guys too. You know?
We had some good times. Well, tell me about some of the early festivals that you attended. I know Camp Springs was going on, some other ones like Fiddlers Conventions, and you met up with a lot of different people, I guess, at that time as well.
That's right, man. As you mentioned it, Camp Springs was really a big one. I enjoyed going to that. And then, you know, the really big Fiddlers Convention like Galax and Union Grove, because there, like at the Fiddlers Convention, you'd see Kenny Baker walking around, Joe Green playing twin fiddles, you know, this kind of thing. You see all these people from New York, Roger Sprung, all these guys, you know. So I think I liked those really a little bit better than the festivals at the time. But Camp Springs really stands out in my mind as being one of the biggies where if you got a favorite and you hadn't seen him before, you'll probably see him there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I can't think of when I was at Boone Creek, there used to be a bunch of Kentucky festivals around there, but you know, I can't remember really the name of them anymore. It's been so long ago.
Yeah.
And Red Gate in Knoxville used to be a really good one. I enjoyed that one. And then, you know, by going to different states, Tennessee and Kentucky, where good players are, and then you start meeting these guys, and then you become really good friends with them. And before long, you'll see this guy you knew then, he'll be playing with this band, you'll be playing with this band. It's always fun to run in and, you know, chat a little bit and see these people. So,
well, you mentioned
music.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
You mentioned Boone Creek briefly just a second ago. Can you tell us about when you first met Ricky Skaggs and Jerry Douglas and how you guys came to form the band Boone Creek?
All right, I sure can. I met Ricky, you know, I mentioned Charlie Moore a while ago. I was playing with him, and we played a lot of shows with Ralph, and Keith and Ricky was playing with Ralph. And they was killing it too. They sound so good with Ralph. Anyway, I got to know those guys well because I'd see them like every weekend or maybe 2 or 3 times a month, or we was playing, you know, festivals and all kind of carnivals. We played any kind of show we'd play, you know, and so did Ralph. So I got together, you know, with Ralph, not with Ralph, but with, let's see.
Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky. And I went to his house. And at the time, Mark Pruitt was going to be the banjo player, and I was going to play fiddle, and I was completely happy with that. But as it turned out I had to do the banjo for a while, and then we just never did get another one. So that kind of got me going there. But we rehearsed, even got together with Keith. He was supposed to be in there, but Keith got cold feet. He was fixing to be with the main singer because Roy Lee had just passed on, and he's going to be the lead singer. So he jumped in with Ralph doing the lead singing. That's what he wanted to do at the time. So, and even Lou Reed was going to play bass, but he had a tobacco crop. So there's a million reasons why we didn't get him. They just said, no, you're not going to do this. So anyway, we ended up with Wes Golden and Jerry. I knew Jerry from working with the Country Gentleman because I'd see him around a good bit. He always blew me away with his playing. And that was a long time ago. That was a lot of fun, and I'm glad it worked out like it did. I don't know if it would have been as good or as popular if we did it the other way. So who knows? I'm just happy there was a Boone Creek and there were 2 albums. So
Well, so are we. I think the world is actually so.
Absolutely. I'm glad it worked out that way. And it's just shortly after that I guess Doyle called and put y'all together for Quicksilver.
Yeah, I left Lexington, Kentucky at that time because I liked it there, but if I didn't have a gig there, I'd soon come back to North Carolina because I knew more people, and also chances of getting a gig in North Carolina was very good. So I come back and I started teaching at a music store in Charlotte. I think it was McFadden's music store. Anyway, I taught there for a couple months, I guess, something like that. And then Doyle called, like you say, he called pretty soon after Boone Creek. And once I left Charlotte and went to Virginia, that's when the marathon rehearsals went on forever. and then we come out, man, and it was probably one of the best, if not the best, 4-piece group I ever played with on a regular basis. And it was so much fun. I loved Doyle's mandolin playing always. I always thought he was one of the top mandolin players of all time in their music, and he had a knack for picking songs. And, Lou Reed's just singing like a bird, and Jimmy's rhythm. What can't you like about that, man?
It's totally awesome.
It is totally awesome, and that was just a good time, man. I'm glad that happened too, because I can go back and listen to that was good, And I listen to it now, and do another reunion show in Denton in September. Now, you know how crazy the times are right now. I hope all that gets to work out, but I think it will. I mean, you never know. People always want to go with the show, but sometimes you can't do it.
Yeah.
Especially with the kind of crowds you have, they won't let that many in and everything. So I hope everything, finally gets back to normal or some kind of normal, and we get back out on stage where we need to be.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I know that changed my life, hearing y'all for the first time doing a reunion. I believe it was the first or second show in Asheville that Milton was putting on up there in Bluegrass First Class.
Yeah.
I hadn't been picking that long. It was probably 95 or 96 or something. And I just graduated high school, and I saw y'all playing up there in that room as a reunion. And man, it just set me on fire to hear that the first time. I'd heard the recordings, but, never got to see y'all play live, and man, that was something.
It's always fun to see live, so you can see who's doing this and what it looks like, because you've heard it before on the recording yourself. I know exactly what you mean when you say that. You put the look and the sound together and say, yeah. Now I understand what's going on here, a little better anyway. So,
well,
yeah, that was.
Hey, man, it made me just want to do it even more,
Yeah. Well, anytime you can hear something you like that well and want to do it, then it's got a hold of you pretty good. You're going to find a way to do it or not. You get it. I guarantee you will every time. But we did rehearse so much, man. It's like a job. It's all day, every day, except Sunday. And, we'd break for lunch, come back and play some more, break for dinner, come back and play until about 10, and get up and do all over again the next day, But, when you do that, when you do walk on stage, that is not a big deal because you've been doing this stuff for months.
Right.
Every day, I mean, I'm tired of this stuff. I want to hear something new. But this first people, first time they got a chance to hear it. And, yeah, I love it. I love that old stuff. It's, I'm glad we're all still around where we can do a reunion every once in a while.
I
So.
do too, man. Well, shortly after that, I guess, you picked up Alan and y'all played and made a record, the new Quicksilver Band. And
Yes, we
lasted
did.
about a year and a half or something like that.
Yeah, that didn't go really all that long. We changed around members a good bit in that band. I don't really remember why, but we had Junior Sis for a while, and we had Wayne Winkle for a while.
Yeah.
And Biggerstaff, he worked there with us. You know him well, and I know him well. But it seemed like he'd pop back up and you laugh, and you'd be in a band with him for a while, and then never go away. But he'd be back sometime, So.
Yeah. Yeah. Old Biggerstaff's a good one. I knew I got to fill in for you a few times there. I remember we was at, I believe it was Summersville, and Wayne had got maybe in an accident and couldn't show up, and I just pulled in with Charlie in the bus, and he got me and said, grab a guitar, we're about to go on stage.
Yeah, I remember that, and then you did a very good job on that, man, because I know you couldn't have known a whole lot of our stuff, the regular stuff we did all the time, but it was really good. It was really good. And you saved us. You saved our neck, man. You really did.
I was honored that y'all asked me to come up there and do it with you. It was fun. That was a great band too. Tell me a little bit about 1991 when y'all started Third Time Out. That was another awesome time, and we're thankful to have those recordings. And man, that was just great too.
That was a really good band, and they had just left Doyle. Ray and Russell and Grove had left Doyle. And at the time, I wasn't really doing all that much. I don't remember exactly what I was doing. I think I was doing Jim Whitley, the banjo player. I'm sure you remember from around Charlotte. Me and him done some corporate stuff, so I was more into that at that time. But they just give me a call. Ray gave me a call. Said, "Man, we start the group. Would you be interested?" I said, "Yeah, sure enough." He said, "Come on down to Georgia, Swanee down there. They have the Everett's barn, We went down there and we rehearsed for a while and checked it out, and it sounded good, really good. Everybody cut it, and that's kind of how it got started. And we rehearsed a lot like that, but not near as much as the Dole. But anyway, it was good. And then Alan, he got a job down at the beach in one of those theater shows. So I called Lou Reed and I said, "Man, we it's kind of a short notice, so we were going to Lexington to the Festival of the Bluegrass." And I said, "Man, we need you here bad." And he said, "I don't know any of that stuff." I said, "No, you know all that stuff. Don't worry about it." So he played the rest of the summer with us, man. And I stayed, I'm not really sure how long I stayed, but it wasn't too long. Once Lou left, I left with him, and we formed Carolina, Lou Reed, Terry Baucom, Carolina.
Yeah. And that to me was one of my favorite bands, man. With you and Clay and Lee.
People, young guys would come up to me and say, "Man, that's what got me into it." I said, "I love it." And even Uwe Kruger, he told me, he said he got a cut of that, and he said for 2 years that was the only CD that he would let go in his car. He said, "I listen to that all the time." And I said, "Well, man, that flatters me there that you liked it so well." But different kind of people liked it, and they liked the songs and everything. And I'm glad we got those 2 albums because
it's
Ray
car also all the time. Actually, the first car I had, I didn't have a CD player, so I carried around a jam box with a CD player with batteries just so I could rock with Carolina.
You gotta have tunes, man. You gotta have tunes for sure. That's cool.
Man,
Very
how did
cool.
y'all record that? If I can talk to you about that a little bit, about that time, with the Third Time Out records cutting and the Carolina records, how did those go down? I know that was a lot before digital, but man, that sound through that era in the early 90s and the late 80s, it's been real hard to reproduce that, I think. What's your thoughts on that?
I think you're right. I really do. We just went in. I think we recorded the Lou Reed, Terry Baucom stuff. I believe we did that at Dubuchet. A lot of people were going to Dubuchet because everybody knew Tim and he'd give you a good rate. And he's putting out some really good music, on vinyl and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they got that kind of sound then, because it's hard to get that kind of sound now, And we would do it. We would be pretty well rehearsed on both Third Time Out and me and Lou. We would get it together pretty good and do it a little while on stage, to get a real good feel and kind of get the feel for the people. If they liked it real well, then okay, we for sure cut this one, do another one. I didn't like that much, so that kind of helped us pick out what we was going to do. And we knew a lot of writers at the time, and there's a million songwriters now around Nashville and everywhere else, and there's some good ones too, man, really are. But that brings to my point. We looked, everybody searched, and we had some really good material for the Lou Reed and Carolina stuff, So we got a lot of good writers now, though, man. There are some good ones.
Well, that was definitely some good material through that time that y'all picked on all those records, man. It was so good. You get to listen to it a lot now because I still play it a lot.
Sure. I tell you, without the tune, man, you are stuck. I mean, that means you can't record that song because if you don't know the tune. So anyway, you need somebody really writing it, because without really good material, it sets you back before you even get it started. You know what I mean? You need killer stuff, and it took me a long time to realize what was really, really good and what was just kind of good,
Mm-hmm.
And like Marlon Miller, he does a lot of writing for us, and we'll record something. Or I'll be sitting around the house knowing we were going to record it, So Cindy, what do you think about that? I don't think that fits. And she said, yes, it does. You just do it a little bit different way. And, for long, I keep messing with it. She said, that's pretty much it. So she helps me a lot with this kind of stuff. And the other guys do too,
Right.
But most of the time, we just kind of pick it out, send it on down to it, and let them do it, let them whatever they want to do, however, we go in, and then we'll go in on the guitar and banjo and lay the tracks down and get all of our stuff fixed. And then when the bass and marimba come in, they got it made, man. They got a really good track, the one we're going to keep,
Yeah.
I said, man, that would be a luxury to just walk in and just play on the finished thing, So, but we don't get that, so we work that out. And you know how it is in the studio. Everything will start off gangbuster, man, get down, And then all of a sudden, there's that lull. You can't do anything, man. You got to get up and walk around. But it's a lot of fun recording really good songs. I know you and Brooks have some really good songs, And that who's the Cajun song that I like? I told you I wanted to do it.
Joel Sonnier.
Yeah, Joel and Sonnier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that song.
Tears Stained Letter.
I heard that the other day, and I said, man, I always wanted to do that. I've always thought that was a great bluegrass song.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all had the good cut on it with the Cajun fill.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love that, man. That's great.
We've loved that song a long time too. I remember when Patty Loveless did it as well, but I always liked Joelle's version too. So yeah, it's a great tune.
I tell you what, y'all got the cut on that.
Yeah, thank you. I know you mentioned Cindy a while ago, but behind every good man is a good woman,
That's
ain't there,
right.
buddy?
I trained him
I got
well.
one right here, and I know you do.
She cracks the whip. I'd get lazy if it wasn't for her. She'd get that whip and I get to moving now. But I appreciate that. And she knows I appreciate that. So, like, we need to get in the studio now, and you just can't do it at this time, you know.
Yeah.
So we had a gospel and 2 singles that we had recorded, and we put the gospel and one of the other singles out. Now we just released the last one we have. We got to get into the studio now. We won't have anything to put out. You know, we want to get all that on record or CD. You know, so but it's sometimes you can't do that.
Well, you've got a great band now, and I know y'all been doing that for several years. You've had some awesome recordings and some good charts, you know, singles, and I know you had the IBMA Recorded Event of the Year.
Yeah, that was What'll I Do? That's right, man. I forgot about that. That was a really good song, and Mylon Miller had a hand in that, him and Mark Winchester, I believe. And they sent, I bet they sent up in Cindy like 50 songs.
Wow.
You know, and I like some of them a lot, but, you know, I said, well, we'll put that on the back burner. And then it got to that song. I said, I really do like this because it's different from all 49 of the others. And at that time, I was just doing solo projects. I didn't really have a band at that time. So we got Sam Bush to sing on it, you know, and White Rice played guitar and everything. And we got a really good cut on it. It sounded good. And it was just different enough that people kind of got to listen to that, you know, and they got to really checking it out. And it just got kind of snowballing, you know, and it won the award, which I was honored that it did, being on one of my solo projects. But, you know, the credit should go out to everybody's in it because it's star-studded bunch there, you know.
Yeah, it was great, man.
It was a lot of fun too. It was like, oh man, this is fun. And Mylon said that is the last song I thought you would do off that. I said, man, that's the only song I wanted to do. So, you know, when he told me that, I said, well, Mylon, it's a great song. He said, yeah, I didn't think you'd like it. I said, I loved it, man. I didn't like it. I loved it. So,
yeah. Well, just
anyhow,
Terry, well, like that song and then all the other recordings that you've been a part of, man, you know it's Terry Baucom when you hear that on a CD or record or live. If you can't see it, I think I can hear you pick out your playing, and that's very distinctive and very good, man. I mean, it's just you make a lot of records.
Well, I'll tell you what, that I really appreciate that coming from you, Darin. And you know, you just do your thing. You play your style on whatever it is, whatever you can do, get your style going. And you know, I remember the second time I went back with Dole, you know, he was cutting Blue Train and stuff like that. Man, I said, man, this is good stuff, but I was not conditioned at that time to play that. But after I've been with him a couple of months, yeah, pull that song out. I'm ready for him now. You know, so and you just put your style on, yeah, you just put your style on whatever song you got, you know.
Yeah.
If people recognize it, that's the best form of flattery there. If they recognize who it is before it goes too far, hey, good ear, man, good ear, you know. So.
You've definitely done that. And I think, and that's why we named these sessions that we're going to start doing. And we've talked to a bunch of people and we're going to talk to some more from Carolina. It's just the Carolina style of music and playing and bluegrass and what it's offered. And, you know, as we close out here, do you have any other comments about that being from Carolina and what it's kind of contributed to the music?
You know, the Carolina sound is, as you think, is Earl and Snuffy Jenkins and all them old guys that played this music years ago, you know. It started with them, and then, you know, Earl come out, and they had the best band in the world because they were so tight. They worked all the time, you know. But Earl would roll that banjo behind that and that's what I try to do. Like he would do so many different things, but when he was behind in that, and he was way back from the mic, and he just tilt that banjo a little bit, put that hard drive going for, that just a regular roll, thumb, index, middle, and he'd roll that, and that was the whole band. I mean, Flat, Scruggs was honored, should be honored to have Flat on guitar because he was as good as Earl was on his instruments,
Yeah.
Because he owned Earl, when Earl kicked it, don't worry about Les because he's going to be there, But I think that kind of sound is what we hear today. A lot of people don't recognize it as that, but North Carolina, this really goes the way Earl went. This hard drive, man, and do it right. And that's what we try to sound like that today, or that's what we do, try to do that exactly the same thing. So, Kentucky's got more of a sound themselves. It's close to North Carolina, but we played some songs with a guy not long ago, man, and he's from Louisville. He's a good player and a good singer, man, but he had the phrasing is not like North Carolina, how it would be. You just take your time with it. It's like he was kind of rushing a little bit. I told Sandy, I said, man, that is not the phrasing I'm used to right there at all. I said, it would be better. I would enjoy it better if he would, take your time a little bit. Think Merle Haggard, man. When he would sing a song, man, singing it would be almost like talking to you, just conversation style, And that's what I like to hear in a singer. And I think that is a true North Carolina style, is that Southern, just good, hard singing, and not rush it too much. So.
That's right. Well, we thank you for joining us today and just all you've contributed to music, man. You have done it, and I've loved every bit of it. And I'm glad to be able to jam with you on a few tunes that we've got to do over the years. And your singing has always been great too, man. Your bass singing, your harmony singing, outside of your fiddle playing and banjo playing.
I appreciate that. I sure do, man. And I'm really happy to join you and Brooke anytime. And I hope then you can get back together and play some gigs one of these days. And I was enjoying playing with you. I really did.
That's right.
And don't matter who we get, we're going to be good. I know me and you. Anyway, it's doing this. I enjoy this. This is a different style for me to do because, and Sandy's been quarantined here, and I think everything will be good and get rolling again. And hey, that's what it's all about to us. So.
Well, you make North Carolina and you make bluegrass proud, and we're proud to call you guys friends. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Brooke. I sure appreciate it, and it's been a pleasure. You folks stay safe.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.